everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you. I'm Dean, and we are here yet again on a wonderful Wednesday. I love that. Wonderful Wednesday. Thinking Man's Thursday. Fucked up Friday. Titillating Tuesday. And man, it's Monday. Today is Wednesday. Hump Day. Nice to see everybody. Anyway, thankfully you're here, and we've got a show for you today. Hopefully Paul Atkinson is going to stop by in a couple minutes. We're going to talk to Douglas Connors from the True North Eager Beaver podcast. He and I share a brain when it comes to how certain things work in this world. So I'm really excited to bring him in. So please welcome him now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Douglas Connors from the True North Eager Beaver, your Eager Beaver, at True Eager on Twitter. How are you, dude? Nice to see you.
I am super, super well. How are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. Nice to see you. I had a fucking busy day. I didn't even know if I was going to make it today. Do you drive downtown Toronto very often? Do you ever drive downtown very often?
I don't drive. They won't let me have a license. Apparently, I'm a menace. Apparently, I drive like an elderly citizen on crack with cataracts.
Is that what the driving instructor said?
Mm-hmm. They didn't let me complete the test.
Really?
I failed before it was over. I can 3-point turn and parallel park like nobody's business. I got the maneuvers, baby, but I cannot drive.
You know what's amazing is there aren't many people that'll be honest about not having a driver's license. You and James D. Fiore are the only two people that know. They're like, listen, I can't drive. I never drive, can't drive. I'm terrible at driving.
It is. I am a great co-pilot.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you could fold a map, I could read and fold it. You know, I changed
little Pearlies. Did you have one of those Pearlies maps? You do one of those, a little thing in the side of the. It's like a thing you get at the gas station. Pearlies. Remember those? Remember we had maps. Remember we had to look at a piece of paper and go, okay, we go here, we go there, we go here. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt you. Just a nice little thing. Maps.
No worries.
Yeah, great.
I got us from Ottawa all the way to a whole trip through Atlantic Canada. I think something like 5 weeks with one wrong turn.
Just using a map. Right?
Just using a map.
Should we go back to maps?
I don't know.
Because I don't hear any, like that used to be a thing, right? When we use maps, it was like, fuck, I'm the map guy. Like I have to be the map. And it was like the source of pride for us, wasn't it? If we were riding shotgun.
You could read and fold it back? Yes. Both.
Using a map properly. Yeah, we can get from here to there. No problem. You tell me I'm the map guy, right? And no one has to be a map guy anymore. And now, I don't know about you, I'm so dependent on my GPS, or if your partner's so dependent on his GPS, where it's like, hey, this is telling me to go left, but I feel like I should be going right.
That's how we made the wrong turn.
Oh, that's how you made the wrong turn.
I used the map, the GPS said something else, and I was overruled, and we added an hour to our trip.
That's the thing. I think GPS has fucked over the world. Do you know how many stories I've read, Douglas, of people who have ended up in the lake? Or into a wall, or into the side of an apartment building in a field. It's like, fuck, this is supposed to be downtown New York. I feel like I'm in a cornfield. Well, you are. It's because you used fucking your GPS. If you used a fucking map, an old school map, and if you had someone next to you that could read it, I mean, you'd get there no problem, right?
But like if you think you're in downtown New York, you'd think like somewhere along the way, like when the buildings disappear, maybe you want to turn back, like before the field. Maybe
this doesn't look
little deductive reasoning.
You end up in the lake. Like you would think before you went into the lake, same thing. He's like, oh, there's a lake. Well, it says keep driving.
What's this blue stuff in front? Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, we are so crazy as human beings. It's like we give up something that works well because it's like, oh, this is cool. It's on a screen. It'll tell you where to go. It doesn't know where you're going. Not only that, my car gives me a completely different route than the GPS on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, listen, who's in charge here? Me or these two fucking items?
That's why self-driving cars scare the fuck out of me.
Really? Do they really?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you're supposed to remain vigilant. Really? Yeah. Who's going to be doing that? Really?
I know. Really? What, in the self-driving?
We know human nature. Really?
Dude, those aren't even... The Teslas don't even drive themselves. Did you see the interview with the dude, like the co-founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, on Squawk Box last week, where he's like, they go, what do you think of Elon Musk? And he's like, guy's a fucking loser. He didn't say it in those terms. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, he got electric cars manufactured and stuff. And then he went on this thing where he's like, But let me tell you something. I paid $50,000 extra for all the cameras that would enable that car to drive my wife by 2016. Not only did it not happen in 2016, didn't happen in 17, didn't happen in 18, didn't happen in 19, didn't happen in 20, and it still hasn't happened in we're 2023. He's like, the guy's a total fraud. Everything he says is a fraud. You can't believe anything he says. Did you see what happened this weekend? By the way, with the Super Bowl and Elon Musk? This is a great fucking story.
Oh,
Yeah. So Elon Musk is at the Super Bowl in Rupert Murdoch's suite.
I saw that photo. Yes.
Yeah. And the world fucking lost it, right? It's like, oh,
Well, what's like when
they're working
Jared and
together.
Elon were in the suite in Qatar, right?
Yeah, same thing. He's just he's a whore for that side of the equation, and he's a whore to be seen with them because he loves this stuff. Like he's just an egomaniac. Anyway, so he's at the Super Bowl. Joe Biden tweets, "Go Eagles." 29 million people interact with that tweet. Elon Musk tweets, "Go Eagles." I don't know, 3 million people, 4 million people.
Mhm.
The number was egregiously smaller than the president's.
Right.
What did he take out of that, you may ask? Great question. Elon Musk was so pissed off that his tweet, his Super Bowl tweet, didn't perform as well as the president of the United States Go Eagles Super Bowl tweet. And so he freaked out, called his cousin James Musk, and he said, "James, get all the engineers together." And he's like, "For what?" He's like, "My tweet didn't do as well as Joe Biden's tweet, and we're gonna have to change the algorithm because someone's fucking up over there, and I don't know what it is." So you know what? They all got together, all 80 of them, 80
They
engineers.
fluffed it.
Yeah, and no, they didn't fluff it. They changed the entire algorithm overnight so that Elon Musk's tweets would inundate everybody's timeline, which is what's happening. And now he's trying to walk it back and go, "Well, we're going to try and figure it out and work on it." There's no working on it. He was such.
Oh, now we're going to try and figure it out and work on it.
Yeah, he was because he's like, and he's he's not going to figure it out. It's like when the government says, "Hey, we're going to try and figure out a way that we can give you guys some tax money back." No, they're not. They're not doing that. It's a lie. And so he changed the algorithm for all of Twitter and so people's like you'd log on to Twitter the day after the Super Bowl and it was just a series of Elon Musk tweets and everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And then they tweaked it so that disappeared and Elon's still not happy and he's firing engineers that pointed out, and this was fucking hilarious. There's like, "Elon, you can tilt the deck. You can tilt the algorithm table to your direction if you like. We will do that for you."
Right.
And they said, "Well, good, because there's a problem here and people are fucking around." He goes, No. The problem is you're not very popular anymore, sir. And he fired him on the spot. He showed him the Google Trends list. Not only did he show him the Google Trends, he's like, "Dude, you're not big news anymore. Like, people are getting sick of your shit." And then he pointed out, not only are people tired of you and no one likes you anymore, that's the problem, is that you've just kind of pissed in the punch bowl and everybody's like, "What the fuck, Elon?" Right? That's kind of the deal. He goes, "A lot of the people on Twitter have blocked you. So people aren't even seeing these tweets. They've either blocked or muted you because you're also, on top of being an asshole, really bad at this." Because he's one of the worst tweeters on the planet.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing with these I call them one-trick phonies, right? Have you ever seen the movie Evita?
Madonna?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Looked like I did for a second, though, didn't it, Dougie?
It did. It looks like you're thinking about it. There's a part where somebody that she was with before is coming and they're doing a charity benefit. Yeah. Right. And he sings his song and it's the same song he sang and he sang it in the same way he's always sung it before. And he gets his applause and he's coming off the stage and she's up there and she goes, "Your act hasn't changed much." And he looks at her and goes, "Neither has yours." It's just like, it's like, it really is that.
It is.
The number one cardinal sin on Twitter is being boring.
Right.
He doesn't have a second act.
Like, his tweets are boring. He tweets like a period and then like a couple exclamation marks and everybody's like, "Something's going on over there." But no, he's just being a dick. Like, he's just putting stuff on Twitter to get a reaction. When he doesn't get that reaction, he's like, something's wrong. And he can't literally, this is what I find hilarious. He can't believe people don't like him. He can't believe that the psyop of trying to, buy Twitter to force everybody into going, "Fuck, this guy must be awesome because there's all this great news about him that he's algorithmically forcing into my timeline. He looks like he's awesome." Everybody on Twitter that uses it properly as an information distribution pipeline, knows his shit, right? Like, this is like, fuck, dude, you're like, this has been going on 12 years now. You're so fucking boring. It's like unbelievable.
At first it's entertaining, then it's amusing, then it's annoying, and then it's like, oh God, her again. Right? I mean, it's just there's no second act. There's no second act. This is all he's got. It's all there is.
How do you describe it? How do you describe that? Because I had a hard time. And it's funny, over the past few days, Twitter's fascinating. I'm fascinated by it because it's such a dumpster fire. Half the time it works, half the time it doesn't. But I don't know how you describe the way that he has cashed in that reputational capital. Like, to me, it wasn't the air flight attendant horse for a blowjob story. I was like, oh, fuck, he's just a rich asshole, right? It's just this continual drip of like him being proven wrong or egomaniacal or assholey, or like, it's just regular shit, right? Like, there are a lot of people that are like, he's a part of some cabal. I don't think he is. I mean, he's friends with the same guys that want the same things, that have the same kind of money, for sure. Yeah. But for me, it's like, I think he's just like that annoying asshole kid that was part of everybody's friend group, that everybody just got so fucking sick and tired of how weird and how self-centered and douchey he is, that they're like, I'm just so tired of hanging out with that guy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that, first of all, there's the money.
Yes.
Right.
Wealthy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you hang around and he likes you and, brings you into the circle, then, there may be stuff. There's that part of it. But for him, on the side about people getting tired, like all things, overexposure, saturation.
Yeah.
Right. That's at play here. But the thing that about him that's specific are the fields that he is in. Right? Like, you had people in oil and in plastics and in metals and industrial, and he's in space and satellites and,
transportation
and, things online, which is a whole other industry. So he's got that, especially for older people.
Yeah.
With money, with white hair.
Yeah.
Usually white, allegedly Christian, allegedly heterosexual, whatever. Right? He's hip. He's cool. Yeah. He's with it.
Well, because he represents their values, right?
Like, if he was a regular celebrity, like an actor, he'd probably be over already, because there are plenty others. If it was something, if he was in in fashion, let's say, rather, or typical business, he'd probably be over by now, because there are many. But I mean, how many people are building rockets?
Just him that I'm aware of. As far as people go, I think he's the only people company that's building rockets, and I think he's one of the richest guys in the world. It's amazing how people will suckle at the teat, isn't it? It is, and it's what amazes me is that important to certain people, like Ian Miles Chong, who's just a mouth breather, and the regular cabal of guys that he kind of cycles in and cycles out of his Twitter feed that are supporting him. I call them Twitter fuckboys, is what I call them. And what amazes me about that whole crew is that they're so transparent and so fucking funny to me and so see-through that I don't take any of it seriously. And to the point where, like, I don't take anybody that retweets anything that guy says or does seriously at all. Same thing with that's all it is.
It's all show me who you are, right?
Right. Like, it pulls the sheet back. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's like seeing an account that says Patriot on it, or Free Thinker, or Freedom.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite.
Or Searching for Truth.
Unacceptable Fringe. That's another one.
Yeah.
Unacceptable Fringe. Yeah. Searching for Truth Seeker. That's my favorite one. Truth Seeker. Dude, I've been inundated. I don't know if you've been paying attention on Twitter the last couple of days. It's been fucking awesome.
I know you love this, right? I mean, first of all, being a Stoic, number one, but then number two, it's like you are
What?
I'm a bit of a tennis fan, and there was a couple of years ago when Medvedev from Russia was playing at the U.S. Open. I think like the crowd was booing him, and he was like, "Yeah, bring it on, bring it on." He had to apologize for that the next day, of course. But it's like your hate fuels me.
Yeah,
It's just
it
like
does.
I literally see like if you was like this like horror movie, I literally see you like brewing something and cackling.
Would you be referring to the Justin Trudeau in a T-shirt riding a moose picture that I like to use to fucking make people crazy? I think you are.
I
Like this
love
one?
that. Yes.
This is Trudeau moose riding shirtless through the water, just like a hero. It's obviously photoshopped. I'm not a Trudeau fan, but fuck, if it makes these guys crazy, I'll do it. Trudeau shot down 2 UFOs over the weekend in Canada. Here he is riding a moose to your mom's house.
Yes, and that gif, you know, like there's that gif of Blanche Devereaux from Golden Girls with the like spray bottle going like this. That's your mom.
Yeah, and she's excited for him to come over because he's a hot piece of work.
Oh man, but no, seriously, like that right there is just freaking brilliant.
You like that?
Oh, I really, really, really do like that.
What do you like about it? What do you like about me trolling these mouth-breathing meatheads?
Come on, man. We hold these things to be self-evident.
Yes, we do.
Right? Now, the trick is, and you probably figured this out as a Stoic as well, right? There's a certain amount you go. Right? A certain amount of time you dedicate, right? I'm usually a 1 or 2 shot person. Like sometimes I see something that's so stupid and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to a place where the person at the other end is like totally not receptive and is not going to get it. It's not going to take it. You know, that's fine.
Yeah, this is not a conversation. They don't want to have one.
Right. But somebody's going to stumble upon this and might think that's true. So it might be good to have a response right under it that says that this is bullshit. Just, you know, civic improvements, you know, just like dropping stuff around the way. You know, it's like, because then people get mad and I'm sitting there just like, it's not for you, honey.
Oh, that's all for me. Like, I struggle with it sometimes, Douglas, because I don't actually. I kind of dig it. I'm just trying to sound empathetic there for a second. I struggle dividing the world, but you know what it is? Is that I said this today. It's like all I do is show their work. Like there's really no net benefit. And then when you explain something to people, they get crazy mad because you touch the truth. 3 days ago, Pierre Poilivre does a rally in beautiful Windsor, Ontario. Pierre Poilivre, in case you're new to the program, leader of the official opposition, he's been running around Canada for the past, year and a half? Year and a half?
AKA Captain Short Pants.
Captain Short Pants. Skinny Trump, as I like to call him.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's been running around saying some of the most incredible things to get support from people so that he can be the official leader of the opposition. He is a career politician at the age of 24. He was elected as the MP for Carleton, Ottawa. He hasn't given up that seat. He's in his 40s. He's a multimillionaire, never had a day job. And he absolutely, when the convoy happened, and by the way, happy anniversary to the convoy getting kicked out of Ottawa. I believe that was yesterday.
Valentine's Day, when the Prime Minister showed the nation the ultimate act of love.
That's right.
Kicking the bums out.
That's right. He got rid of the hillbillies. Good for him.
That was him saying, get off my lawn.
Yeah, I liked it. In fact, I cheered for it. In fact, we all did. And but a long story short, so Pierre Poilievre is this. He's a conservative. And he was a huge convoy guy. He went out and partied with him, took him donuts, walked with him, marched with him, talked about how he wanted to take out the prime minister with the rest of these people. These are the people that had the MOU, wanted to hang. So hang politicians, hang senators, get rid of duly elected government. That's why they were there. I don't need to go over the whole litany of bullshit. But Pierre was a big fan of that. Massive fan. Come on, let's go, convoy.
I made his nipples hard.
Yeah. So now he doesn't say a fucking word about it.
Oh, no. Not
a word.
He was invisible throughout the entire Public Order Emergency Commission, except for on the last day when Trudeau testified. Then he had one thing to say, which didn't really matter because there was nobody testifying after.
Yeah.
So, when you have a fight, like this, and you kind of win like this, and you could finish the guy off, but you don't. and then you walk away, and then he comes around and sucker punches you in the kidneys.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
Yeah,
he's that guy.
We call that
British. Don't be that
British.
Guy. Nobody
we
likes
call that
guy.
British karate, by the way. That's called British karate because I'm from England. That's what we used to do. Hey, easy down, I'll kick him. So anyway, Pierre has to rally in beautiful Windsor. And this rally is well attended. It is at a gun club in beautiful downtown Windsor. The gun club itself, and they listen, if you're a gun fanatic, gun friend, good for you. Don't care. Not a fan of the guns, not something. And I didn't even know this was a gun rally until after I posted this. But it's the same. If you see the crowd, all bunch of older white people being told that they're having their future and their kids' future being taken away from them, and it's their right to reclaim Canada on behalf of conservatives and their culture and their views, which is all religious and full of colonial settler bullshit. So that's and by the way, if you think I'm joking, let's just take a trip down memory lane. My friend Danko made me remember this today. He's like, instead, Pierre Poilivre said, reclaim what has always been yours. This is a straight up dog whistle. Yeah. Reclaim what's always been yours, as he's been going town to town in Western Canada and rural parts of Canada going, reclaim what is yours. And these guys are going, huh? Yep, I got it. Reclaim what's mine. That old white privilege. I got you. Yeah, right there, white privilege. Got it. Yep. So then
the rest of us are sitting there watching it and
going, hey, that's a racist dog whistle. And they're like, no, it's not. So he tweets this thing at a rally. Stephanie Dunlop works for him. She's one of his proxies. She actually works for the Conservative Party, which is why she makes these videos. And she's like, massive crowd out for Pierre Poilievre this afternoon in Windsor. It was a fucking pro-gun rally. So I tweeted, every white person at a Poilievre event is there because they think PP will protect their white privilege because he told them Justin Trudeau is taking it away and has been for a year and a half, by the way. It's easy to astroturf these dumb white people with the education of a hammer. Now, since that tweet went out, and was I doing a little bit of this? Whoop. Yeah, for sure. Did I bait the hook? Absolutely. Did I know what I was doing? Fuck, it's the easiest game in the world. If you want to get these people angry at you, tell them what they already know and what they're trying to hide behind. Oh, that's just my guy. No other reason. Don't want to talk about it. That's just my guy. What came after that was really the justification for why I put it, and I want to bring this to you. This was a response that I got from someone named Grifter Webb. This is this morning. This has been on for 2 days. Hey, Dean Blundell, white replacement is real. Mississauga's population is 57% visible minority. This didn't happen by accident. And then they included one of these all-world memes that Randy Hillier had cooked up a while ago. You remember this? Whereas a picture of Justin looking all fancy from Vogue, I guess, looks good. He's like, the very concept of a nation founded by European settlers is offensive to me. Old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic and quite frankly replaceable. We will replace them. Justin Trudeau, when asked on comment of his open borders immigration strategy. By the way, that is all a lie. That is made up. We don't have an open border strategy. He never said any of those things. He didn't say, I hate European white people. Never, ever, ever, as he said it. But it gets repeated so many times by guys like this Grifter Webb fool who went out of his way to prove me 100% correct, which I pointed out. What we have here is this. A Pierre Poilievre fan that wants to reclaim what is theirs, which is a white Canada. 2, a great replacement theory. This is all in the tweet. It's right there. You can read it. And 3, I got 2 2s and a 3. Fear of losing white privilege.
You were excited.
Yeah, I was. Thanks for proving my point for 3 straight days, you fucking hillbillies. Easy game. Now, I want to put this in your cart, Douglas, because I don't mind having I don't consider these Twitter fights. I don't even consider these people to be real human beings. I think the vast majority of them are bots, trolls, etc. But sometimes you'll get a few people in there who, like that gentleman, and I actually have a picture of him because someone doxed him right after he put that out because he's clearly, but I didn't share the information. I just have his picture, and I won't share it because I don't want to do that to a guy. But clearly cowardly, totally anonymous, pointed out that is all these people fucking care about, Douglas. Am I wrong? Am I racist for because I've been called a racist about 4,000 times, including by the boys and girls in Canada Proud. Let me bring this one up. I actually like this. You guys did a pretty decent job. This is owned by Jeff Ballingall, guy who helped start Rebel News, Canada Proud. Really good friends with Gavin McGuinness, the guy who started the Proud Boys. He works for Pierre Poilivre. So this was actually because he's Pierre Poilievre's digital guy, like he's his digital maven, right?
Yep.
So this was actually a response from Pierre. This is how Pierre responds. It's through that chunky mouth breather named Jeff Ballingall, who writes this stuff and then completely takes it out of context. So
he says the things that Pierre can't. He's the pit bull. Usually it's someone in cabinet, but I don't think he has people in cabinet that are up to the task really of doing it in any way that's credible. So this is the way that he's doing it.
Yeah. So this is a response from Pierre Poilievre himself through Jeff Ballingall at Canada Proud, a clearly xenophobic, nationalistic group of white supremacy, white privilege douchebags, where he says, this is disgraced radio host Dean Blundell. I like how he highlighted my name. Correct. Linz, that's correct. He
right.
nailed my name. Oh, yeah. Got it right.
Yeah, they got it right.
That's what matters.
Yeah, he nailed it. According to him, people support Pierre Poilievre due to white privilege. Also correct. That is 100% correct. He also says minority Canadians have been tricked into supporting Pierre Poilievre out of confusion. Where did they get that from?
Find the lie.
Great question. They got it from this. Gentleman tweeted me. He's like, out of genuine curiosity, in your opinion, what is the motivation? This is where they took it from. So they missed a couple parts, but we'll get to it. What is the motivation for non-white people for attending Mr. Poilievre's events and rallies? My answer was confusion, ideological alignment, or gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, my man, Jeff Ballingall at Canada Proud left the really important two ones out, gaslighting and ideological alignment, and just went with confusion, because the goal for Pierre Poilievre is to paint people that have an issue with him specifically telling people in plain Anglo-Saxon language, Anglo-Saxon language, that he is here. You speak it too. We all do. Yeah. That he is here to help them reclaim what has always been theirs.
I think I might have an accent.
I think it's suspect. I think the timing's suspect. Did you not just get in a row with Pierre's press idiot on Twitter?
Sarah
Isn't
Fisher
that weird
she called me vile. Oh, it's the best. Vile, racist, and ignorant.
It's funny,
and I'm like,
how that happened.
Aren't you the person that
happened?
walked down Wellington Street and you started honking horns and you told everybody how beautiful it was and that Jesus Christ was the reason for that season? Isn't that you? She blocked me right away.
Yeah. But I just find it funny fascinating that happened, and then all of a sudden Pierre's mouthpiece is all over it. It's almost like somebody got an email or a memo or a text.
Almost.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. Was any of that A, wrong, or B, racist? Douglas, we'll start with you.
Nope.
Why not?
How would you like to fucking
because I brought receipts? Is that
why? I mean, why? Like, it's like we hold these things to be self-evident. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Why is the sky blue? It's like walking outside when it's like raining and somebody says, "What a beautiful sunny day." It's like, okay, if you want to think that.
Yeah, hey, you're free to say that.
I mean, it's like I'm still tethered enough to realize that it's freaking wet. Okay, but yay.
That's a great shot. That's a great shot of JT though that they used for that meme.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
nothing.
That one. That's the look of him looking longingly out the window after he's done with your mom.
Yeah, you know what that look is? That look is like, I could bang all your parents, and they'd probably bang me.
Yeah,
that's the Vogue magazine shoot, right? That one really drove them crazy.
Oh yeah, he looked great in that too, by the way, Douglas.
And so did Sophie,
didn't she?
Like, and that picture where they're together, where he's got his arms around her, like this. You look at them looking at each other. He loves her, and she loves him.
Oh yeah,
you can't fake that.
No, you can't fake that kind of love.
It's like they were all about each other. I mean, there would be cameras and makeup and whatnot. Those people were not in the room. They're like, you and me, baby, we're posing for Vogue right now, and I'm all about it.
And what they got to realize is there's women across this country that are tired of being embarrassed by their chud of a husband putting flags on their family vehicle. and they would hop right onto that moose and head to the Holiday Inn Express with Justin like tomorrow, and just do it out of spite, even if they don't align with them.
They don't even need a fucking hotel room, dude. It would be like, hey, back in the Camry, actually back in my husband's Camry. That'd be great.
I had a kid on my page.
Wipe
Turn
up
around
with the F Trudeau flag. It'll be great.
Yeah. Wipe yourself down with it after. Yeah.
I had a kid on my page, so I would say something like, seems like people are hot and bothered. And I was like, fuck, I'm hot and bothered.
Well, he's a good-looking guy. But he really is, and it's amazing because all this hatred, because I never talk, I don't like Justin Trudeau. I think he grandstands. But I think in terms of, and I don't like what he did with the election when we were really sick. But here's the thing, is that I don't like politics. I don't like politicians. Right. I find you all to be incredibly disingenuous. Absolutely. I don't vote for
a bit of a misanthrope there.
Thank you. I know I am, and I get that. I'm self-aware.
That's fine. We love you the way you are.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I don't fall into those same categories of people. So I wrote an article that said Justin Trudeau's national embarrassment a while ago, and that got the ire of all the people on the left, right? And I'm like, and I'm one of those guys that farms these things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that in the back of my head. And I am also not one of these guys that likes to complain about political institutions. I hate talking about politics. Like, I fucking hate it. I like the human behavior after the fact. Right. Like, that's the stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And so this has been one of the greatest studies in human behavior in the history of this beautiful country of ours.
Right.
And when we start talking about why these people act the way they act, it's really easy for me to explain it to you. People act the way they act because they have actually adopted a belief system on behalf of other people, and they're being told that you got to fight for us. They're going to come take your stuff. They're going to come do this. They're going to come do that. You got people on the left going, if Pierre gets in, he's going to be a lawless country. I don't doubt that it would, because the guy was like, I love the convoy. Probably not the guy you want running the country. I would love his policing solutions.
Until he decided not to, like, it was like, new phone, who's this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's exactly what he would be. We have such a short memory.
It's like
in the West when it comes to politics and when it comes to what political parties are all about. And the conservatives, even back when they were actually progressive conservatives, like back in those days, they still employed fear-mongering tactics to tell you that we're coming for your guns, we're coming for this, they're coming for this, your jobs, you're going to lose your jobs. We've done this for decades, and we always forget that while he's sitting there taking a picture of himself in the backyard with his gun, saying, come and take my gun, considering it's the gun from his grandfather that the Liberals didn't come take back then, and it didn't take it from his dad, and now he's got it, but they're still coming, and I'm afraid. It's fear, and they live in a perpetual state of fear. I actually feel sorry for them. Like, I really do deep down. I laugh at them and I poke fun. But
that's where my pity comes, when I pity them.
I truly feel sorry for them, because
what you feel sorry for these chuds? Do you seriously feel sorry for these guys?
Think of it this way. Could you imagine waking up every day, going through life, being convinced that 2/3 of the country absolutely hates you and wants to? I say often, right? Like, pain's a natural part of life, but the suffering is optional. These people are choosing to suffer. They're just I pity them. Is
it choice though? Is
sad?
Is brainwashing a choice? Like, if you've been brainwashed,
yes and no. I mean, if you're so because there's brainwashing. I mean, out in the West, when you have, in the last 50 years, when one party has been one party rule for all except for 4, you get mythology, and mythology is really tough to break.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean religion?
Religion or mythology, right? But the whole thing, right? Like the National Energy Program and Trudeau,
same smell,
and Quebec gets everything, and they get nothing. Yeah. It's like.
That's what amazed me over the past 2 days.
Right? With not knowing anything, right? Like this, and then always blowing that dog whistle. Like, Danielle Smith the other day saying, like, now we're not going to lose the Flames to Quebec, right? It's like nobody's talking about that except you.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Really?
Since the inception of the white supremacy,
Quebec, right? We're going to lose something to Quebec, so we're going to press that.
And real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, but to your point with Quebec, That was one of the pushbacks I got the most over the past couple of days, and I laugh at it every time. Someone's like, "Well, Quebec can be racist. Why can't we?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking joking right now, dude? Like, it's not good there either. Like that's the whole job stuff. Like racism is bad everywhere. It doesn't matter where it's allowed in a French province that I haven't set foot in. Like it's also bad there, right?
And it's also before the courts. People are doing stuff about it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, but we want to be like that." Well, then fucking go live there. Remember that? Remember the whole thing with separation when Quebec's like, no. Remember that? And then all Western Canada, when it mattered, goes out on $1 plane tickets. It's like, hey, don't leave the country, Quebec. And they're like, okay. And then 51% of Quebec was like, all right, we'll stay. But we want to be as racist as fuck. And because of that, everybody's like, we don't see any racism over there. We don't see. And what that does is it gives people an idea in other centers to go, hey, if they can do it, why can't we? If they can protect their white culture, why can't we? That's a great fucking question. It's because they're allowed to do it because they held the country hostage every fucking 10 years with a vote about leaving. And if you want to leave, you can do the same fucking thing.
But they also have the culture issue, right? Yeah. Often things are a shield, and I'm not saying that this is the case 100% for 100% of the people. But remember when they were always talking about gay rights, like this, and not having gay marriage and not letting gay people adopt, right? It was never about gay rights, right? It was about family values.
That's right. It was always about Christian family values.
Yeah. Right. So it's like we're not being racist; we're protecting our language and our culture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's how they do it. They hide behind family values. Is that what they do?
Well, so it's the same thing. It's the shield thing, right? Because you have to understand in Quebec with Legault, right?
Legault.
The dynamics has changed, right? It was separatist federalist, but now it's moving more a little bit towards conservative liberal. But because they had that separatist thing, it's now more sort of like Legault considers himself an autonomist, which is still which is sort of like the Bloc Québécois. You know, if it's good for Quebec, they vote for it. If it's not good for Quebec, they don't. But if it's good for Canada and happens to be good for Quebec, they don't put any sticks in the wheels. They just go for it. Because this is a party that could be way more obstructionist if it wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And since about like 92% of what's good for Canada is also good for Quebec, most of the time things go. Mm-hmm. Right?
Usually.
Mm-hmm. So when you get a guy like Giuseppe, for example, like he was the honest broker, right? Back then, people watched the debates to hear what Giuseppe would say, because if it was anything about anything other than Quebec, because then you know he was going to toe his line, he had no reason to lie or bullshit. It didn't matter to him. So he just said how it was. It's sort of like Elizabeth May now. When you watch the debate, everybody's bitching and moaning, and then you look, okay, Elizabeth, what's the deal here? Right? I guess, and then she just tells you. So he was that guy. You know, Blanchet is a whole other piece of work. But Legault, in order to maintain his majority, all he has to do is push on an ethno-nationalist thing, because you still have the English, French, and so that way you can keep a good 60%, particularly since there's like 78 seats and a good part of them are not in the Montreal area. Mm-hmm. So if you can lock those ones up, where there are not a lot of people who look like me who live there, if you lock those ones up by just pushing on this little thing about language, those little changes to to extra changes to Bill 101, extra like this. So if you have a little thing like that, each election, you pretty
much
lock up 58 to 60, right there, boom.
Yeah, they don't care.
Anybody who says anything against it, then you can turn around. Oh my God, they're anti-Quebec, and now you've constructed your political enemy, and you've got your whipping boy, and you've got your thing to campaign against, and to put yourself in the role as champion of the culture. I guess, and it's a goose that lays the golden egg, because there's no lack of issues. Immigration, Roxham Road, I guess. Where do you want to go today? We've got one.
Fascinating. And all predicated on fear. And that's all just
predicated on fear, but like Legault has actually got like, he could, unless he does something like terrible, he could actually be there a long, long time.
Oh yeah,
by throwing a new little ethno-nationalist tidbit into the fire and asking people to react. And while people are going crazy wondering why Trudeau is not reacting, he is reacting. But the thing is that he gets one shot at this, and when you do your shot, is when it matters. Mm-hmm. Right now, these are in court. These are in court in Quebec. So the people of Quebec are taking it to court. And it's going to get to that process. And at one point, it is going to get to the Supreme Court. And when it gets to the Supreme Court, then it is time to intervene. And that's that one shot. Anything before that he would say would just be capital for them to turn and shoot on him.
Yep.
Like this. So there's no reason for him to volunteer this right now in the real politic. There's nothing to be gained for doing this now. So he's sitting there going like this, there's a process, I'm respecting the process. But he's saying, unlike Mulcair, because Mulcair didn't want to say it in that election, Trudeau was going to say, if it does come to the federal level, then yes, we will have to do something about it. Whereas Mulcair, who he was trying to protect his seats in Quebec, never went that far.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah,
so
it's
Trudeau,
me about that.
This is the one thing about Trudeau you have to understand, that a lot of people don't like him, but when it comes to anything, when it comes to matters of constitution, he will actually tell you the truth.
Yeah.
He made that
Okay,
comment
so
about
how do
Quebec
you
a long
square
time ago
that?
when everybody lost their minds, like this.
Yeah.
And he said, Quebec is different because there were conditions when they came in. There's a certain amount of seats in the parliament and a certain percentage of seats in the Senate, and that's never going to change. It has to be there. Right? There are certain things. Now, the reason why the Senate is never going to be dissolved is because Quebec has a certain amount of seats that will be disproportionate to the French language and the French population as time goes on. They are never going to sacrifice that.
Nope.
Ever.
So help me
So
understand
when you turn around,
that French culture, though.
Pardon?
Help me understand that French culture in Quebec. Is that what they're hiding behind to do all the ethno shit? Is
there's
French
a portion,
culture, French people being forced into Quebec by the rest of English-speaking Canada? Like, what is the big piss off for them? Because there are a lot of people out there that don't understand the details of that.
It's a similar game that's going on when you're talking about like the Brethren and all that kind of stuff, right? So all the people, the high-paid consultants or whatnot, it's like, okay, you need to push these buttons, right? Like this, you've got X number of sensitive chords that you're going to pull on. Like this, you've got this one, that one. So you need to pull on this one. Mm-hmm. And this is how you do it. But there. So it's purely strategic. The Quebec people, you might have some people who are sitting there and thinking, yeah, I'm going to hide behind this. But I don't think most of them are thinking about that, because they're doing that thing where they're telling you that your language and culture is in danger, which pushes that fear button, which makes you bypass that logic thing. Right? Mm-hmm. That for you to stop and think, okay, my government is really putting in a racist policy and is trying to pull one over my eyes by playing. You don't think that, because right now you're thinking, well, yeah, of course we want this to remain French. I mean, and the data is there, right? On the island of Montreal, there is the proportion of Francophones is diminishing. The proportion of people who have a language other than English or French as a language is rising. The proportion of people who speak English and another language but not French is rising. Right? There's with the birth rates and the immigration rates, whatnot, when they're saying not somewhat because they want to bring more French people in so that they can maintain the French. So there are some real things. The data shows that there is slipping, but the solutions are wrong.
Yeah.
The solutions are way too extreme.
And I would agree.
On the Bill 21 thing, you have a situation in Quebec where people are being denied equal opportunity to any other citizen to access certain employment, yet are being taxed at the same rate for that privilege. And they're going to court on a human rights thing, and I would be taking this to court on a tax basis thing. Mm-hmm. That's where they would win.
Okay, so
because they're being asked to pay the same taxes for less privileges as everyone else.
So let's use that as an example. What you're talking about in terms of protecting the French culture. Mm-hmm. On Toronto Island, Montreal proper, and the diminishing French-speaking, French national Quebecois, right? This is a melting pot of people. Canada is one of those things. I'm an immigrant from another country, even though my skin is white. I came here like a lot of people of color came here, right? We came here.
My family came. Yeah.
Your family came here. I came here when I was 2. I wasn't even born here, right? But we all came here for the same reasons. Okay. Now, the conversation that I hear get bandied around and the impetus for that catalyst to touch people where that fear is, that white privilege fear lives.
Right.
It's a very similar tactic. It is, if we don't protect this thing that we're incredibly proud of, which is where we're from, and the color of your skin often is a result of what you think you're proud of. I don't identify with that. I don't understand that. because my friend Lachlan Cross often says it on this show. Really? You're proud of the vagina you came out of and 1,000 or 1,000,000 years of evolution that led to that scientific fucking, and Linz has said it many times, scientific fucking reality that you're proud of the fucking checkers game that won you your skin color? Is that for fucking real? Like, is that what you're really proud of? And the same thing with French speaking. You're like literally super proud that you were just fucking born by a miracle of science into this family that speaks that language and is of a different skin or that skin color. And you're like,
that one's a little different, because you're not only proud of the skin color, there it is actually the language. And with language, you have like culture and emotion and attachment.
Right.
Like, language is it's different, because the language you speak is the language you speak. You're always living your language.
Yes.
Right. There's no life without language.
Yes.
So it's a very, very rare thing like this. And we talk about it a lot for Quebec, but I'm Francophone, but I'm a Franco-Ontarian. So I'm a Francophone in a land where I am minority on my own territory, as opposed in Quebec, where the majority in my own territory. Trust me, language, very, very, very big thing. Very, very, very big thing.
Okay, so they have ammunition in their bullet that the rest of the country does not. Ammunition in their gun that the rest of the country does not. And it's language and what that language means to that culture, correct?
Yeah, but it's real, right? And
yeah.
The thing that I would say on the other side is the people from out west, or the people from anywhere, actually, because it's across the country, who are supporting this other movement, right? When people are saying, they're racist and they're hillbilly, and maybe hillbillies. Again, there's a portion, right? But I believe that the same way there's a portion that it's just, they would help you move, right? If you were an emergency, it's like, please, would you like?
They'd help me move.
They'd help
somebody pay for you to move.
Even the people that they say that they hate, right? Like this, or like, help you pack like this, or like, could you water my garden while we're away, or all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they're wonderful this, but when the people that you are talking about, when the people that you are othering are not there, right? You're not among them. You're not living like this. The Quebecers are so far away. The Eastern Ontarians are so far away. The Liberals, where liberal is dominant, is so far away, because that you can be told anything about what it's like, right? Anything about what it's like, and that you need to fear them because they're coming to take away what your reality is from you, like this. You don't have to be racist at that point to say, I'm going to support that guy, right? Because again, right, we're not comparing to the Almighty, we're comparing to the alternative. And from them, the alternative is coming to take away the stuff that they know. So, okay, yeah, they might be a little racist, but
what?
They're coming to take away everything I know. So, I mean, they're the only one that are standing by me. So I'm going to take the racism a little bit with it.
Oh yeah,
because who do I got? I'm not necessarily racist,
and that's exactly
going to stand up for me.
Yeah, great point. Great point. Yeah.
When the Klan formed, when did the Klan form? Do you remember?
Thursday.
Yeah,
up in Keswick.
Yeah, I was going to say that looked like a Bed Bath and Beyond flash
in Newmarket, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays.
No, the first iteration of the Klan was formed in the 1865 or whatever, right? After like emancipation, because it was formed to counter blacks that were getting into politics since being freed. Because now you have landowners that are like, well, this isn't fair. Well, all my farmhands are gone. I feel like I've been put upon. The second iteration came when they started involving religion. And they got the churches involved because church leaders were also becoming part of the Klan back then because they were tied to the politicians. And all of a sudden now they're coming after your Christian white values. And now and politicians, they smell what's successful, right? Yeah. And conservatives have done this from day one. They smell what's successful, and success is fear. Fear. Because just as Douglas said, just because John Smith next door doesn't care, he's like, blacks should be freed. I don't want to have a slave. They shouldn't have been enslaved anyway. But you guys are going to take away my rights? Well, I'm with them now. So you're right. He may not be a racist dude, but because he's been programmed by constant centuries, generations of fear of having things taken away from him, and his grandfather told his father to tell him to tell his son, it's a snowball, and this
You know-
snowball, nobody's ever done anything to stop the snowball. That's the problem. We feed it because we know it's successful, and it's
familial.
easy. Yeah,
It's familial. It's
easy.
educational. You get it at home. I grew up in Saskatchewan and Alberta, generally. Saskatchewan, half my childhood. Alberta, half my childhood.
Yeah.
I specifically remember we got to stop immigration. Most people are coming over here to get our jobs. In class, in church, at home. In class, in church, at home. Those are the only three places I went. The only place I didn't get it was fucking hockey practice, right? And it is not just institutional, but it's literally baked into the everyday conversations of people in this country. And that's the part that frustrates me. That's why I get upset. Because when people pointed out over the past couple of days with my white privilege tweet about the people that attend rallies, attending rallies because Pierre has said he's going to help them reclaim what's theirs, right?
Yep.
I go, hang on a second. I've just gone through this genesis over the past 50 years of my life of trying to figure out what the truth is according to the shit that I've been taught by parents who aren't really well educated. Love them to death. They don't have the same views and expressions that they used to have back when I was 10, thank God. But that was that time. That was what you were told. And out west, it was specifically bad. Now, that was a different time, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? We evolve as people and we get to a point where we're like, okay, I need to make some changes because I don't want to feel like fear, anger, paranoia when a politician says, these people are coming over to take your stuff. Let's reclaim what was yours, Europeans. Let's reclaim what was yours. I find that so fucking offensive and such a backwards way to do things and such an incredible fucking dog whistle when you're at a gun club in Windsor with a room full of old stock Canadians.
Yeah.
I find it offensive because it's the reinforcement of the 100 years of lies that we were taught by our parents, by our schools, by our educators, and by our politicians. Okay? We still live in an apartheid country. We still have reservations where we make sure that nobody can fucking do business, where they don't have clean drinking water. We still have apartheid in this country. And we are still have a large portion of this country saying, you know what? Fuck that. I want to reclaim what is mine.
We give them too much.
Ready, yours, you cocks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the best part. When you ask them, just give me 2 examples. 2, 3, 1. I don't even care. What are you reclaiming? What are you going to get back? Oh, Canadian values. What are Canadian values? Tell me what they are. Freedom. Okay, well, how have you lost your freedom? Shut up, you fucking libtard. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to understand it. Like, because if maybe we are wrong. There's a very good fucking chance that we're wrong. We're just a couple of fucking idiots with a podcast. Maybe we're dumb.
The volume of people that told me I was wrong made me want to bring Douglas on the show to say, Douglas, is this racist? Which we did assert it is not. And
well, I've got a share screen there for you, Dean. If you'd like to put it up, because if you're racist, then
oh, you're racist too. You're a gay racist, though.
Time to play Where's Waldo 2023. In this version, you try to find the BIPOC in the crowd.
That looks like a red tag sale at Bed Bath and Beyond. That's what that looks like to me. Like it was like a midnight madness.
So if you're a racist, honey child, then
yeah, I guess you are too, huh?
We're in the same club, baby.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing, Kent. If you do take a strip of white privilege, or you take a strip off a group of people like this that are all standing there saying, "Yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy because he's going to let me buy more AR-15s."
Right.
If you do get into that scenario where you assert yourself and you go, okay, what else are you here for? And they can't answer that question. Does it make them dumb or does it make us right? I think both.
Yeah. See, that was when you ask those questions, first of all, it's a binary thing, right? Often it's a little bit of both, or sometimes it's neither, right?
Yeah.
Because the binary formulation wants to lead you into one path or another, and it's like to talk about where it is actually. So yeah, but no, in this case, well, it's like it's like the Taco Bell commercial, like "Por qué no las dos?"
I like how you use the word binary because that scares them too. So
I haven't even said that word because I'm afraid of it, actually, to be honest with you.
But here's something I noticed though about that you might find a little interesting. When Pierre Poilivre goes to his rallies, right? And then he takes his photos from his rallies, right? We look at the massive crowds and we see all these white people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But when you look at his Twitter game, for some, that's the crowd. Again, where's Waldo? Right? But hello.
They were late.
Let's get some pictures of people of color. Yeah.
They were parking the car.
Well, hello.
The bus didn't make it.
Now watch this. This will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Canadians are concerned with healthcare and cost of living, so it's time for American PP to talk about guns.
Yeah. And
who's in the pictures
talking
about guns?
Pretty white. It's pretty more white privilege. Yeah. Oh, and there's Tracy Williams from the CCFR. Tracy Wilson.
This one guy here.
Oh, yeah.
Got this one guy here.
Person of color. Yeah.
He's IT.
Yeah. There's the ethnic diversity.
Yeah. Not really that ethnically diverse, is it? No, it's not.
No, it's just a room full of thumbs. White thumbs.
We know who
firearms owners.
But see how he's shaping his message?
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that works?
Clever. He is clever. He is good.
Yeah.
He is good.
Like you know what? Isn't that tokenizing? But isn't hang on. Okay. Yeah.
When you're thinking about it down to this level of detail,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He's good.
But isn't that him tokenizing?
He's using his powers for evil, but he's good.
But I know he's good, but isn't he good in a bad way? But isn't that racism in itself tokenizing the people of color in your crowd and making sure you only put up pictures of them?
Yes, it is. But you're not
supposed to battle people.
But you're not supposed to talk about that. That's why he's talking about it first.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got it.
Right? It's the cheating spouse syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll come back home. You're cheating. Oh my God. I have a partner that would never cheat on me. I mean, look at what they think about cheating. And then like 2 years later, you find out, or he dies, and then you go to the reading of the will and you find out he's got another family in another state.
Yeah.
I love that. I love all these guys.
Just saying.
It's
a big world. There are all types.
This will kind of give you some backstory and kind of give you the temperature. Christ. This is the exact same kind of shit I got for the past 3 days. This is from Candyman, another brave anonymous soul on Twitter. LOL, you're a race baiting loser. White people have never been oppressed. The Irish have entered the chat room. And I replied, yes, the 1,000-year Irish slave trade. Tell us more.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I mean, dude, and it's not, it's nonstop. Like it is. And that's the equivalence. Like that's when I was like, okay, some of these people can't be real. A real human being who went to school at all wouldn't go, what about the Irish? Like,
no.
Like a real human being with a brain and the ability to reason and the path to critical thought, once faced with the idea that we are a white privileged society, and that is exactly who Pierre Poilievre is catering to, goes, oh, yes, white people have been appraised. Let me explain to you what happened to the Irish. I mean, are you fucking serious right now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking serious, people? Do you know how stupid you are? Because I do. So does Douglas. So does Ryan. So does the rest of the world.
And I'm right with you with that. And I have absolutely no data to prove this at all. But I am convinced that there are people that are on Twitter, there are accounts like that people there, and they're paid to be there to have mindless conversations, to just keep it. You know, those people where the conversation just keeps going and going and going and going, and it never actually ends. Yes, and I believe that their thing is that when they find you and they do that to you is because you happen to be saying something that's particularly true right now that they don't want people hearing. And they are tying you up in a conversation so that you don't get to spread your good word somewhere else. They're keeping you tied up because when you get this long thing, you can see when you look at your analytics, your numbers go down, 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 down the longer the conversations go because people tune out. I guess now they've got you tied up and you're not actually spreading truth or information or facts. So that's why I always say one comment like this because somebody might be watching, and then if they respond like this, it's like thank you, block, and if they keep responding, mute, and if they keep responding, block.
Yep.
I don't even use the mute button anymore.
I know.
Yep.
Point
but I mean, for sanity, for people who can't resist keeping, because it's really hard, right, to stop because they'll say something else and you go, oh well, fuck, I've got another fact for you, and it's like, no.
Yeah, let it go.
That's giving the baby their candy.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you something. I really struggle with that on Monday. And I'll tell you why. I lost almost a half day to this. A half day to trying to explain the words white privilege to people. Cognitive bias. White privilege, cognitive religious bias. I tried really hard to explain it to about 100 people on Monday. And then I'm like, what am I fucking doing?
Yeah, I have this conversation with my wife constantly. Why are you fighting with these people?
No point.
We've been fighting with people for 3 years nonstop on the internet. Has anybody changed anybody's mind?
No.
Anybody on this panel? Anybody?
No.
And
then what the fuck are we doing?
My point was, I was suckered into it that day. I was like, okay, here we go. I got one on the line. It was like, because I was fishing. I'm telling you the truth.
Good.
My thing is I like to fucking piss all those people off and own their brains by the end of a conversation. But I rarely reply because there's no point in doing it. All I love doing is watching the engagement. They're like, you're getting racial. I'm like, it's called engagement, dumb fuck. And I dig it. And you're doing exactly what I want you to do. It's like I lead people around with a stick, and on the end of it is just a rotten piece of shit. And they're like, I'm fucking attracted to that. Let's go. And I'm like, okay, baby, let's go. It's like a Pied Piper thing. Come with me, losers. It's like one of my
you're doing the same thing, right? You're taking them somewhere and you're tying them up so that.
You know what it is? So. I know. You know what I think it is?
That's not why I'm doing it, though. I'm literally, like, I know there's like science behind it. Oh, exactly, Linz.
Yeah.
Do you know why I do it? I get a kick out of watching these guys at a fever pitch go, rah! I fucking love it. And then you know what? The other part of this is that I've been curating a post with all the Pierre Poilivre really good citizen supporters, and I'm going to use all their work and curate a post about it and punch them in the dick with it because that's how I like to do business. Is that so wrong? It's not an algorithmic thing. I'm just one of those guys that likes to fucking pick at scabs of terrible people, and it's the best.
As long as it's for that reason and you're enjoying it and you're not actually like people that are not like, because like I feel bad when I have to every once in a while on my like social media accounts, I have to put up there saying, you know, you guys are just like as bad as those guys. And I won't clarify who I'm talking about. I just won't. And you watch the left lose their minds about it because
that's the ultimate insult.
You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the audience because you might be full of virtue, you might be full of good intention, but you've lost me when all you like. Take a picture of your fucking hamburger or a dog or something once in a while and put it up there. Like do something that's
an inspirational quote.
Anything that's just something that's not about politics, you know, like when that's all you do.
Cake.
Well, when all you do is when every single tweet on your timeline is about shitting on Doug Ford or it's fuck Justin Trudeau or this and that or Justin Trudeau's great, fuck Pierre Poilievre. If every single tweet is that, like that's another. I'm feeling sorry for everybody today. Apparently, that's another person I feel very sorry because you are just as fucking locked in as they are, and you're doing it to yourself. You're getting yourself worked up.
100%.
Fucking tizzy.
It's optional.
That's why when people say to me, how can you do it? I'm like, because I'm not involved in it. I realize that it's a window on my phone and none of it's real and it's a game to me. Like I just see it like the Matrix. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jump in every once in a while and have a little bit of fun.
How you doing?
But you know what?
Faces?
You like you, even in the middle of a flurry of this shit going on the weekend, we're still able to show us a beautiful porchetta in your oven. You know, like you see what I mean? Like there's a human element. You need to show people. You're yelling about everybody being a bot, but you're literally being a bot when you're like, especially people the activists, you're not paid by a political party. You're doing someone else's footwork that will not lift a fucking finger for you. What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Pierre Poilivre hates for every single person in those rooms that he's in.
But it goes for both sides. Justin Trudeau's not going to fuck you either. You know what I mean? So
he hates him too.
Yeah. So stop it. Just let them do their thing. Keep an eye on it. Go to the fucking polling station every 4 years. Put your little ballot in. Cast your vote, and be a happy person. Don't get sucked into this. It's a horrible existence.
Here's the problem: is that the body politic, or is it politique, Douglas? How would you say it? Body politic?
Body politic.
That's not how they work. They work according to how can we whip up the crowd? How can we whip up our supporters into a fever pitch to do some work for us? How can we get them to be battering rams? How can we get them to spread our messaging? How can we get them to do that? Like we've said this a million times. You are the asset. You are a political asset. Your point of view, your Twitter handle, your courage, your lack thereof. You are literally what they want, and they want to activate you and piss you off. Yeah. So the reclaiming of what's yours and this and that, and then Trudeau with these fucking dirt balls, they all need to get vaccinated. These are by design. They're by design to piss you off so that you get mad at them and vice versa. Right?
Yeah.
This stuff is different. This stuff is different to me for a very, very specific reason. Is that if you can't see the truth behind what is going on with Pierre Poilievre and the dog whistling, and if we're not willing as white people, I said it, white people, to risk your privilege to point out white privilege in action as a fear-based strategy to ruin this country, if you're not willing to do that, you are a problem too. If you're not willing to call out what we're seeing, if you're not willing as a white person to say, hey, hang on a second, the dog whistling, the bullshit about reclaiming what's yours and making you free again and getting what you want out of this country, all that stuff is bad. And here's what it is. I just happen to have, you could say, the idiocy to do it. Some people call it courageous. It's not. And listen, do I pay attention to it online? No, I don't care. I don't care.
It's a real fine.
It's a kink for you. I think it's a kink. It's a kink.
It is a kink for me.
It is a
what
kink.
Did you say? It's a real fine line with.
It's a real fine line between courage and stupidity.
It really is. Isn't it?
Fine line.
Yeah, it's very blurry.
But because it doesn't bother me, I find it courageous.
Yeah, and I do. I get that part, but at the same time, it's like, okay, so that's fine. And I'm sure a lot of other people think the same way you do. But when you close that window on your Twitter, what are you doing about it?
Making a porchetta.
And that's why I say,
exactly.
Or, so conversely, because democracy is something to do, you get out and you do something, you roll up your sleeves and you go.
Yeah.
You stuff some envelopes to protest, you knock on some doors, you organize an event or something, but you don't stay home and just pout.
You know what's amazing about this time that we live in too? Paulie's here. Paulie Walnuts joined us. Yes. Paulie Walnuts. Okay. How you doing, Paul? You all right? Paul?
Whoops.
You there? You there? Can you hear us?
It's a little choppy.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I have an audio problem. Yeah.
We'll do it again. Come back tomorrow.
I'm at the office still.
We'll get you tomorrow. Stay at the office. We'll pick you up another time.
All right. No worries.
I love you, baby. Good to see you.
See you, brother.
See you, buddy.
Paulie. He was going to pop in. I asked him to pop in. He's like, I'll try. He tried. And he can't do it. No big deal. But the one thing that I've noticed, too, about the time that we're in is I got called a racist 4 billion times over the past 3 days. And I'm like, I didn't care at all.
Well, and here's the other thing, right? There's a truism here, right? Nothing pisses off an actual racist more than being called racist.
Oh, because it's true. They're trying to hide it, and they can't.
Nothing pisses off, right?
What does that say, though? What does that say about the person? Really,
they're lying. They're assholes.
Or
they're racist.
If they have that ability to emote shame, and it may come out in a form of anger. Why maybe they don't even know why they're racist, and it's because of the fact of conditioning over and over, because they know they have no reason to hate anybody.
Right. Well, I mean, look at Karima, for instance, right? People are calling her a racist now, right?
Yeah. The left calls her a racist, and the right also calls her a racist.
She don't care.
course she
She's a
doesn't.
woman
Because
of
she's not a racist.
Because when it's herself in a mirror, she knows what she is.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
but it's
she
just
doesn't need to go
it's the
crazy.
demoralization of the word, Douglas. Like
Yeah,
between
but
racism, homophobe. I mean, fuck. I don't care. People can call me pedophile. Like Jesus fucking Christ, and it's them that did it. Like, and I love the fact that they've completely de-weaponized it by trying to weaponize it.
That's
All
it.
those tropes, all those
Watered
names,
it
all those
right
like,
down.
fuck, dude. Like, you're not scaring. If the goal was to scare me off of my troll job, which, by the way, I am pretty sure didn't work. By calling me a race. Oh yeah, Douglas, he needs to calm down. It didn't work, and because you guys you hijacked all these really important words when it was really important to use them when these things were really happening.
Yeah,
and you've ruined it for yourself. So not only does it not have that effect anymore, but when we call you that and you freak out to the tune of 80,000 tweets in a weekend, you're welcome, by the way. 80,000 tweets in a weekend. I win again. You're still the racist. It's incredible. People spend all kinds of time trying to tell me they weren't racist, and they, in the process, proved themselves to be 100% racist. I mean, what else do you people want from me?
Methinks thou doth protest too much, I believe is the saying. And
your racist slip is showing.
Anyway, fascinating time we live in, isn't it? It really, really is. I fucking dig it. I love everything about what's going on right now. It's just, if you can't find fun in content like stuff like this, you're lost. Do I like talking about politics? Absolutely not. But my God, this is the most entertaining Canadians have ever been to me.
It's true. We're usually boring and milquetoast and bland and beige.
Right.
Now everybody's fiery.
Like this, everybody turned around like this. Like I remember, like back when I was a teenager in my early 20s. Like, oh my God, there's nothing more boring than Canadian politics. And I'm sitting there, are you guys crazy? This stuff is really good. Right. I've been a political junkie like this, but now that the world has changed and now that politics is a 24/7 thing, right? Because the news cycles have changed, right? We had time to check out because there wasn't, after the 5 o'clock newspaper, you had to wait till the next morning. There was nothing else. You had news in the morning, at noon, at 6, at 11. That's it. But now it's like you're just bombarded everywhere, right? And so, I mean, time is so much faster. Reaction time. There's no time for stuff to sit and percolate. Right, like the John Tory thing, right? Back in like the way he resigned and all that kind of stuff is almost like totally old school. But like back in the day, the Toronto Star story was that they were about 1 hour after they went to print with it. They basically sent them some detailed questions. The next day, the lawyer sent them some responses, and the responses was the bit of information that wasn't public at the time that the relationship had started while they were together, because before we knew that there was a relationship and that she was a staffer at one point, but did the relationship happen while she was a staffer, and did the relationship happen there? And there was a lot of people filling in the blanks with what they wanted to be true, but that was not confirmed until that letter came up confirming it. And then they said that they were going to they basically went live with the story, and then 1 hour later he resigned. Sort of.
Can we touch on that just for a sec, Dean?
I wanted to get there today. And I'm glad I don't want to talk about losers on Twitter anymore.
I want to get
back in the day, though, he might have resigned that very evening before the next morning paper. Mm-hmm. Right? This time the story went live, but back in the day, he would have gotten that call. We're going to be going live tomorrow morning like this, and the press conference might have come before.
You're right. You remember all those political resignations we used to get all the time, and then you'd have to wait to find out why they and then you never really would find out. You'd be like, it could have been an affair. You could have
Watergate was one of the biggest ones like that. Same thing. It was delayed.
Yeah,
the information was delayed.
So things. That's like things how the game has changed a bit over since back then. So now it's like, because it's a 24, you can get your fix at any time, and it's 24/7, and it's a sport, and you got your team and you're cheering, and it's there are people whose identities are their political party, just like some people their identities are their favorite football team or their favorite hockey team, or
it's true,
or their favorite celebrity singer, right? And it's like, oh my God, I'm all about Beyonce, or all about the Rams, or I'm all about like this. But everybody is a geek.
Yeah.
For something.
Everybody's a geek on something, right?
Yeah.
For what they're passionate about.
Yeah. And the ones that the ones that are geeks on politics sometimes have a little trouble maintaining the distance where you're looking at things like this rather than internalizing them and then looking at them.
Well, let's talk about John Tory having that affair then, shall we?
Let's talk about it.
So he quit, and then he didn't quit. He's presiding over a budget today. He's like, I'll stay on until I ram through some shit that I want to ram
I'm going
through.
to quit, but first, my legacy.
Yeah. So there's that. But let's get to that in a second. I want to get to this. There's this one tweet. And Linz, I know you got questions, and I'd love.
I'm hoping it's the same thing. I'm guessing this is going to be about the same thing.
Well, let's just do a quick little timeline exercise. So John Tory, 60. He was 66 when the affair. He's 68 now, but 66, 65 when the affair started. She was
29.
Not 31. She was 29. So 29, 66 ish. Okay. Don't need to know the name of the woman. Doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's 29, 66. But during the pandemic, in the first 2 years, this is like, remember John Tory without the haircuts? Remember when he was like, like this is what she was dealing with.
Sex machine.
Suave.
That's, you know, it's like if you got David Wallace on Wish right there. That's a sexy man.
Give me a slice of that. Give me 2 scoops, baby.
One of my favorite tweets of the whole affair was from Carto Geek. The affair took place during the first 2 years of the pandemic while John Tory's hair looked like this. That's it. That's the tweet. And listen, I know John, but listen, if this isn't John, I'm doing it with whoever the other guy is that looks like that had an affair with someone that was 100 years younger than him. Sorry, Linz, you wanted.
No, that's fucking perfect. That's funny. No, my thing was, so let me get your take on City TV and what they pulled yesterday.
Oh, yes.
With their tweet about saying they had a source saying that Chrystia Freeland. I could find it, but they said that Chrystia Freeland doesn't support John Tory resigning, and he's urging him to not resign, along with Doug Ford. And who was the third one, Douglas? There was a third person in that tweet, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, isn't that funny? There no partisans, like bipartisan support of John Tory. Isn't that funny coming from City TV that's owned by Roger? That's neat. So I waited till today, and sure enough, Chrystia Freeland categorically denied the statement, saying she didn't say a word about John Tory. Doug Ford is nowhere to be found yet again because he's flapping in the wind because of the Stag and Doe. And I just thought I wanted to know, when somebody says an unnamed source on a media outlet that's connected to the party they're talking about, where's the integrity? And I know it's a funny question. Where's the integrity in it? Where's the integrity in because we're supposed to be able to let the media have unnamed sources because that is how whistleblowers happen. That's how things happen.
It's also how you get the information about how things are coming to be, rather than hearing about something that's going to happen one day and then boom, it just gets dropped. And the sources in that case not being identified or unnamed, it's because they're typically a conduit for information on a regular or ongoing basis, and over time have proven to be reliable.
Who owns City TV? What company runs City, Dean?
I believe
You'll be proud to know that is a Rogers Media company.
Okay, and who's on a board of advisors and directors of Rogers Media?
That would be John Tory.
Okay, so I'm wondering if this wasn't some sort of a way to maybe try and salvage a reputation by using some names to say, and wow. But how did they think they were going to get away with this? Like, seriously, how did they think that Chrystia Freeland, the deputy prime minister of the fucking country, wasn't going to come out and say, I didn't say that. I didn't say any of that. I just don't get, like, how colluded and how polluted is this?
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst, dude. Let me
I think a spokesperson that said something at first like, "We have no idea what this is about, and we have no idea how this got to you."
Yeah, and it was the Toronto Police Service. That was the third person, by the way. Somebody had told me in the comments there, but it was the TPS,
the
Chief of Police, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the Premier of Ontario, all begging John Tory not to resign. An
Now, the
unnamed
Chief of
source
Police
says.
and the Premier I can understand, right? Because the Premier, he wants his strong mayor, and then the Premier, well, he controls the Chief of Police, even though he says he doesn't.
And I believe the Premier
there.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I believe the Premier today also said if the lefties get in, we're hooped. I believe he also said that in a question period of where the fuck that they do down at Queen's Park. I don't even know what they do. So, yeah, I mean, it is all bad. I mean, if this isn't a sign to the people that, and I don't care what stripe you are, what color you support, this isn't a sign that our politicians are fucking career criminals. Like, if this isn't a sign that, you cannot trust the people who say they're out for your best interest in a large majority of cases, you're a fucking idiot. Like, at this point, you're just one of those guys that's like, oh, I don't know. I guess that's what they told us. Yeah, whatever.
If you invite 600 of your daughter's closest developers' friends to a stag and do, you might be corrupt.
No, they
you know
all
what he said in
paid.
question period today too. In the actually, this is the best. Doug Ford was like, "Whatever, there were cops there too."
Yeah, that doesn't help the case, Dougie.
Going on, there were cops there.
Yeah, that doesn't help the case at all. Actually, that if anything, that just makes it worse. And who's the cop he's talking about? His buddy? His OPP commissioner friend?
Probably his son-in-law was one of the cops that was there too. And he's got two son-in-law cops, I believe. So.
Yeah. And have you heard the part about
I was thinking
Ontario
Ron Taverner, but yeah.
What's that?
Have you heard the part about the Ontario Integrity Commissioner?
David Wake?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, apparently Doug Ford asked the Ontario Ethics Commissioner whether or not it was okay after he had done it. And apparently the Ontario Ethics Commissioner saw absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you look into him, and apparently now Democracy Watch, take it with a grain of salt, but apparently they have been suing him since 2019 because, according to them, now they probably want him looking into Kathleen Wynne type stuff, but there's about like 87% of the times where there's been a conflict in terms of integrity, whatnot like this. He has actually not pursued anything, so he seems to be a guy who phones it in.
Yeah,
Mr. Wake, the Integrity Commissioner of Ontario.
Yeah, he has that Mary Dawson thing.
Yeah,
well, I've never seen an ethics violation. I can't pass.
He's got the Homer Simpson bird that just sits there and taps. No.
What a fucking province. I love it.
Isn't it? It's such a fun.
And the other thing is that if a lot of you people out there, yes, you're idiots, but a lot of people out there that are like, that can't be happening. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear about the criminality of their governments that they support, because it shakes their fucking world, because they believe in these people, right? They think that that's my guy. Like, there's a reason why people are willing to send me death threats on behalf of Pierre Poilivre that I've never met, right? And it's because people are literally too stupid in a lot of cases to be able to think or reason past their own biases or their ideological perspective.
There's also a little bit of X-Files, I want to believe.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah,
because that aligns with how I grew up and what I was taught and what I learned. And I want to believe because my paycheck is tied to the construction industry. And I want to believe because Doug Ford is positively affecting our business by negatively affecting other things. Or like, let's say you're into private healthcare. You for sure want to believe that none of the things that this guy does are illegal. You for sure want to believe he hasn't done cash for pay for play events with his developer friends. You really don't want to believe in that any of that stuff happens. But I can tell you, not only has all of that stuff happened, it's been happening for hundreds of years.
And it's still happening.
And it is still happening. Yes.
And the thing with Doug Ford, because he's got that folksy thing, and because he does help people, and he's got a bit of that charisma, right? He gets to. Somebody was calling it during the last election the dumbass benefit. Or something, right? That it's like like his heart's in the right place and he's doing the best he can with a tough situation.
Yeah,
Gets the
like
benefit of
charmingly
that.
befuddled.
He's sliding on that.
He tries to be charmingly
He
befuddled.
is, isn't he? Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, he's too much of a doofus to hate him.
Yep.
And you're like, no, he's a collusive criminal doofus. Has been his whole life, the entire family. Criminal, collusive douchebags. That's all they are. And they know it. Like that's the fucking crazy part. They know it. The entire province knows it. But the people that have money in certain industries are like, shh. Shh. Stop it. Stop. Things are going so well for us. Our bottom lines never look better. Stop.
That's exactly it. I thought when Douglas said X-Files, we were pivoting to the things in the sky again. But yeah.
Want to?
Just for a sec. I heard a really cool
he's excited about that.
Yeah, just for a quick second.
Just for a second.
I gotta go after this though, but listen, I heard something
you want
today.
to fucking hijack the show and then you're just gonna split. That's the best.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I like this theory the best. And it actually came, and this is the best part, because it came from a government source. People are like, oh, they're obviously covering it up. It's fucking green men, you know. What about one thing we haven't talked about or considered? Private industry. Private aeronautics that just didn't get any sort of clearance, that are testing things up in the Canadian wilderness where nobody's fucking looking. Not the balloons. I'm talking about these weird things that they can't explain. Yeah. Maybe it's that easy. Could it be that easy?
It could be that easy, actually. Apparently, after the balloon, NORAD recalibrated their radars because they were basically calibrated to catch big things. They weren't able to catch things that were moving slowly or a couple of other characteristics. And then they found that. So, there's an explanation. They seem to be rather, how would I put it, certain that that the purpose of these things were benign, and probably not by a foreign state, probably. Yeah. But they were flying. One was flying at 20,000, one at 40,000, one at 60,000 feet of altitude. So they were in actual danger for civil aviation. So they had to be taken down. The recovery is taking time because they're it's February and it's in the Yukon, for example, for one of them. It's rugged terrain. They have to get there.
I don't buy that, Douglas. I don't buy that. You're buying into the machine now.
No, I'm
buying into the conspiracy.
Here it goes.
I'm just saying what they're saying. Like this. And on the lake, they had some choppy water up and all that. So but they've got pictures and stuff. So we're going to get details relatively quickly. The thing that's interesting about that is because it has. If it was, however, another nation, like I said, if it's proven to be another nation and they're basically probing the system to see where it is, there's a weakness. There's a big gap that's been revealed because we were not monitoring for that type of stuff. That's right. At all.
And imagine
so we just happened to find out something that we were not doing that we probably should be doing all along.
I'm just glad that
people freaking out at D&D right now.
Yeah, I'm glad they tweaked what they tweaked. And that was a Biden administration call. And and this has got something to do with, obviously there's classified info that we don't know, but
it's at Trump's house, by the way. If you want it.
After Trump left. Oh, I guess they were kind of nervous with his ties to Russia and going and hanging out with Kim Jong-un. So Biden said, maybe we should tweak the cameras here a bit and make sure that we're really paying attention to what's going on. And just thinking about, like you say, about the altitudes that they fly at commercial airline altitude, where we could have had a catastrophic event. And there have been unexplained catastrophic events with aircrafts. Was it something like this and we just didn't know it? And it's not like a black box is going to pick it up. It's going to say something struck the plane. It could have been anything, right? So
went through the engine.
Exactly. So I'm sure those people have got to be pouring back along evidence records of plane crash going, fuck, was it one of these stupid discs that these assholes from some drone company that's trying to figure out a way to fly things with self-propelled whatever? There's so many plausible, real terrestrial answers that are available to us that I think they need to explore and be very transparent about, because we're living in such a soft-brained fucking world right now where everything is a conspiracy. Everything.
Can I just slow you down with all your common sense bullshit for a second?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Stop it.
Shut up.
These are
Stop
aliens.
making sense.
These are aliens.
Jeez.
They're here to come out and scare the shit out of people who believe in God. I'm convinced of it.
Okay.
It's like
We're not being very welcoming.
I am
all I'm
hopeful for
saying.
your theory, Dean, on that end, on the actual outcome of the real Revelations, Book of Revelations that you're hoping for.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is a green
like-
guy named Mike, and he just came down from Venus, and he's not happy, and he's like, listen, we've been watching this for a couple hundred years. You guys are fucked, especially the Christians and the extremist Muslims. Let's fuck this stuff up a little bit. Let's just a little bit. And because you know what it is? It's a paradigm shift for everybody. Like, the worst people in the world commit incredible atrocities in the name of religion. Give me Mike the alien, and that stops. I mean, the religious people try and kill Mike the alien. If he comes down and comes out, he's like, what's up? I'm actually God. How you doing? We'll for sure try and murder him. I'm sure the Pope will send like the Vatican police after him. I'm sure of
Swiss
it.
Guard.
I'm
You're
sure.
on.
Yeah. Swiss Guard. Go get him.
Bring your puffy
ISIS,
pants and come
let's
get him.
Yeah, that's when all the world's religions unite under one banner to kill the alien because it like totally destroys all their doctrines.
You're fucking up our story.
but not before Pierre Poilivre brings them some Timmies.
Yes, that's right. It's a good
That
idea.
is true.
That's what Doug would
You know
do.
he
Doug
would. You know he would.
No,
Just
he'd
when
be-
we
he'd
thought
be
we
like,
were out,
Take
he
over
pulls
your
us back
planet.
in.
Hey, buddy, let me help you out there.
Oh, that's funny.
Thanks for being here, boys. I
was
really
great to see
appreciate
you.
it. That was a lot of fun. That was nice and relaxed. We had a great conversation about life, love. None of those things, actually. We just talked about assholes, UFOs, John Tory's hair, and an affair. That's it. I mean, we had a great time.
Don't vote for assholes, kids.
No, don't vote for assholes, friends. Douglas Connors, True Eager Podcast, the True North Eager Beaver at True Eager. Every weekday morning, you can watch him across our networks. He and Paul do an incredibly relaxing way to start your day. And it's very informative. I fucking love it. And I mean that. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart. I love your morning show. As someone who's done a morning show, I will never do one again. So I'm really grateful you do one for us.
Can I blow some sunshine up his ass too?
I guess.
For people who are watching who don't know the show, we try to be the show for people who love politics and hate politics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we try to give you some media literacy and that type of stuff like this, but we also yell the things that you're probably yelling at your monitors and computer screens too. So
I go to bed at night and I put podcasts on, and that's I listen to podcasts as I go to sleep. Yeah. So, but Spotify automatically like plays whatever's in my list, right? So anything that updates from the day before is usually at the top.
Right.
Always, if I get up at 2:30 in the morning for a pee, Douglas is talking to me about Pierre Poilivre. Every single time I get up, I'm like, oh man, I gotta get up and gotta pee. And I bring Douglas with me and he tells me about things. I take my pee and I go back.
But he just like takes the part where I call him pee-pee and then plays it on a loop.
I think that's what it is. You say the word pee-pee so much that it's like, Ryan, get up before you piss the bed.
I stimulate your flow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You do. You know what?
It's like listening to water while you take a piss. It's
I like to help.
Yeah, if I ever have to write like a forward for Doug for his book, it'll be he stimulates my flow. That's what, and it'll just be my name underneath it. That's what it's going to be.
I think that might do it for Douglas. Actually, he might be okay with that. Hey, listen,
that would work for me. I can work with that. I can make something of that.
I like it.
Spin that.
Oh, dude, you're getting a ton of props in here. Like Danielle. Look at this. Danielle's like, I like calm yet interesting conversation while making the kiddos lunch. That you're her lunchtime companion.
Oh,
Isn't
thank
that
you
great?
so much.
Dean Savage, Eager Beaver's a great show. Of course it is. It's Douglas. It's Blue Jacket Guy. They pretend to be a beaver and a fucking bear. How could you not love it?
Exactly.
They don't even go by their names in it, which is fucking hilarious to me. It's Mr. Grizzly and Mr. Beaver.
Yeah.
And you got to decide who's who when you get there. That's beautiful.
We are
Douglas,
cartoon characters.
Great to see you. Love your podcast.
Thanks for the invite.
Really
This was
appreciate you
fun.
being here. Oh, we'll do it again. We got a new feature called Politics. We'll make sure we bust that out later on next week. You might dig it.
Ooh, Mikey
Yeah,
likey.
Yeah, he does. And also got a great vote of confidence. I had a business meeting today, 2 of them downtown. I go downtown and I'm talking to these guys and they're like, hey, what's new? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, we got these podcasts. It's like, yeah, one of the podcasts you have is called The Lens Report. I love it. He goes, no word of a lie. Guy's name is James. He's like, I love it. I listen to it all the time. That is your man that does the Lynn's Report. It's a rundown of the crazy bullshit, but done in a really fucking fun way. And it's a short podcast, but it's brilliantly done. Lynn's Report. Ryan Lindley is the host. Well done, sir. Well
Thank
done.
you,
I
sir.
got to do something for you at some point.
I've asked for it. I've put in a request for the Eager Beaver to do a correspondent piece on the Lynn's Report, and I'm patiently waiting for it.
Okay.
But
we'll have to
thank you
figure
very
something
much.
out.
That feels nice. I'm
wonderful
glad people
show.
are listening. Numbers look
fact,
good. I don't usually pay attention to it, but I looked at it the other day. I'm like, holy shit, people actually listen to this show.
No, it's
I just-
great.
Yeah, it's really good. You do a fucking great job, dude. We've got great podcasts. Go to crier.co for more podcasts. All of these beautiful people, all members of the same collective called Crier Media. We are happy to be with each other. We're happy to bring you on so that we can show people your content if you're interested in it. info@deanblundell.com or info@crier.co, CRIER.co. Thanks, Douglas, True North Eager Beaver. Thanks, Lynn's, from the Lynn's Report. We'll talk to you guys in the next couple of days. Really appreciate you both being here.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
Bye,
Talk to you
everyone.
soon. There's my friends. Those are my friends. Isn't that great? Every day, around 3 or 4, pour coffee, get together with my friends. We make fun of douchebags, try to make the world a better place while we're making fun of douchebags. And then we'll talk about little things like John Tory's hair, or the story I didn't get to today of how I walked into a grocery store and I needed to use the bathroom when I was checking out. I was told you can go use that bathroom right there, so I walked into the bathroom. And as I opened the door, I saw a toilet and a man sitting on it having a shit. And then I saw a urinal next to it and this empty space and holes in the wall where there was supposed to be a divider. 2-person bathroom. So as I open the door, I see this man there relieving himself. And I go, oops, sorry, dude. And he goes, it's 2-person. You can come in if you want. As he was relieving himself, a poop. He was doing a poop. And the toilet was 4 inches away from the urinal. And I'm like, I'm good. I'll just wait. That happened today. I walked in, a guy taking a dump, and he goes, come on in. It's okay. At a grocery store where I was getting 2, not 1, 2 rotisserie chickens. Come on in. Water's fine. I'm good. Guy goes, suit yourself. No, Linda, he wasn't a groomer. He was just having a dump, and he was pretty free with his dumps, apparently. Maybe he's from out west, or he lives in the bush. That's a true story. Walked in. Hey, come on in. I'm good. He goes, you can just use the urinal. I'm like, oh my God. Woo! What a world. God bless y'all. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Douglas. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to you for spending as much time with us as you did. I always love that you give us your time because we can never get that. It's always more expensive than shit, isn't it? I also want to thank our friends at Easy Auto. No, excuse me. I want to thank our friends at Cantork. Wrong guy. Here's the slide. Cantork.com. Colin Livingston is our guy. They make a Canada's best assembly tools, beautiful torque wrenches for industries that you just can't find the right torque wrench. Bolting solutions, big ones that are really hard to turn. Torque wrenches that are in the 60,000 pound range. Like, these guys make the stuff. If it's nuclear, if it's railroad, if it's heavy machinery, it doesn't matter. If you have a tooling solution, the best are in Canada. They make it in Canada, and they're proudly Canadian. Go to cantork.com. Ask for Colin. He's my friend, and he'll hook you up. Colin Livingston, cantork.com, Canada's assembly tool experts. Kevlaw.ca, Kevlaw Defense Attorneys. You in hot water? Huh? You got a bit of a legal issue? Bit of a pickle? Yeah, I got your guy, Rob Kivlikin at Kevlaw Defense Lawyers, top criminal defense lawyers in Southern Ontario. That's where we are. You want to get your life back? You've been arrested wrongfully. Maybe there's an offense. Maybe there's an assault. Maybe you got accused of something you didn't do. Maybe you did something you shouldn't have. And you're like, hey, listen, I need someone who's going to help me get my life back, get in order. This is your guy, Robert W.H. Kivlikin. Kevlaw Defense Lawyers, Robert at Kevlaw.ca. Send him an email today, totally free of charge. He will get back to you. He will consult with you, and he will help you. That is what he is here for. Southern Ontario's best defense attorneys are at Kevlaw.ca. And, of course, Ed's Fine Imports. I can't I can't tell you enough about these underwear. Seriously. I tell people about them, not just on the show. It's not just this thing where it's like, oh, it's my sponsor. No, these underwear are absolutely incredible. Got a pouch in the front, very breathable, super soft, incredible stretch. So you can, like, I'm a large, right? You look at me, you go, are you a large or an extra? I'm a large. Might even be able to sneak into a medium. And they all fit perfectly. It doesn't matter what size you are, they have it. So go to edsfineimports.com if you're in the market for some underwear and you're like, man, I need a good pair. I want to get out of the tidy whities. I want to get out of the silk boxers. Welcome to 2023. The best underwear in the world are sold. Luxury underwear sold right here in Canada and made in Canada by my friend Ed at Ed's Fine Imports, clothing for men and boys. Go there today. Use promo code GITCH3 at checkout. They'll send you a free pair of underwear. And last but not least, our friends over at Cruise FM in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, are putting on with Harvard Media Pink Shirt Day in support of Kids Help Phone. We've got some shirts in the shop. We would like you to go to crier.co or the locker room merch page at 957cruisefm.ca and buy this shirt because we're trying to make money for Kids Help Phone. 1-800-668-6868. Again, 1-800-668-6868. That is your Kids Help Phone number. Kids, keep that handy. Parents, give it to your kids. Sometimes it's weird and they don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to a stranger. It's totally cool. But we're going to be doing a nice big chit chat. And if you go to the locker room merch page, you can check it out. Buy yourself a men's shirt, women's shirt, kids shirt, but $40 and all that money goes to Kids Help Phone. And on the 22nd, we're going to do a Kids Help Phone Pink Shirt Day panel. My friend James P. White, co-host of the Locker Room Morning Show, he's going to be the one that's doing it. He's going to be the host of the actual panel. The lovely Jen Valentine will be there. My friend Kareem Assad will be there as well. I will be there. We're going to talk about bullying, harassment, why it's shit, why you shouldn't do it, and what you should do if you're being bullied or harassed. It's no fun. Kareem knows something about harassment. I know something about harassment. I also know something about bullying from both sides of the equation. And as we get older, we tend to get a little smarter. So if we can make a little bit of a difference, and we can do it with our friends at Kids Help Phone, at Harvard Media, and of course, our friends over at Pink Shirt Day, we're going to do it. So please, if you could do me a favor, go to our website, crier.co, front page of the website. At the very top, you can sign up to join. You can bring your whole classroom. It's a Zoom thing. So we're going to be Zooming that and piping that into a computer in classrooms across Canada. Very much would like everybody to join us that day. So if you can do that, go to crier.co, sign up. You'll see the Pink Shirt Day icon on the top. Just click it and you can register and you can enter. You can also go and buy some stuff, but let's try and make a difference where we can. Really appreciate your help with that. Thank you. That's it. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, 4 o'clock off Friday, but we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.